The magic slide. Is it truly magic? All right, Sean here, Shop Task YYC. Great to be back. Life is good. Okay, so today we're going to break down the magic slide. Very excited. It's something I've been practicing for better part of a month, something like this, and really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. Oh, but I should say this off the bat. No, unfortunately, the magic slide is not magic. It is something we can all do with a little understanding of the positions and how to apply our rotation, weight transfer, these sorts of things. So we'll break it down in just a second. But yeah, I just want to say, first of all, magic slide wasn't something that was really in my toolbox. And I'm not sure why. I just never really put the time in to properly learn it. I probably used it time to time here and there, but never in a big way. It wasn't something that I couldn't do, just something I didn't really do. But now that I have a chance to play around with it and really truly figure it out, I'm having a blast. It's an awesome move. Now, why is it important? Well, the magic slide, now that I've practiced it, I realized what a great tool it is as an emergency stopping technique. Something that can be done at high speeds, going down hills, this sort of thing. It's used by downhill skaters, city skaters, right? We mentioned Greg Mirzoyan uses it quite a bit. In fact, he mentioned in a previous breakdown video that he did, a tutorial, if you will, on the magic slide. This is the move he uses in emergencies. And we see downhill skaters going down hills at just almost unimaginable speeds. They're going so fast, but when it comes time to check their speed around a sharp corner or around an obstacle, a lot of the time you'll see them using this magic slide. So great move. Okay, so let's break it down now. The magic slide, I like to think of it in three parts. We have our position, let's put it this way. Break it down into the UFO, that's our positioning, the release, and the slide. Okay, so starting with the positioning, what I call the UFO. Now, the UFO term comes from aggressive skating. It was a name given to what we'd normally call a front side, but where you're on extreme inside edges off the frame onto the boot. Really stylish, cool move. Okay, so let's talk about the UFO position. So first thing is getting a wide stance on inside edges, wider than shoulder width. We're gonna lunge our weight to one side. In this position here, we're gonna say we're about 80% weight over the lunging foot. So in this case, on my left leg, 80% of my weight is there. As soon as I switch my positioning over into that lunge. From the lunge, what I wanna do is I wanna accentuate that inside edge. And I do that by bringing my knees together. And when I bring my knees together, I call that the UFO. So now I'm in my UFO position that you see here. Excellent. So feet out wide, lunge, knees in. Now I'm in my position. Practice that. That gets you into your UFO. You're almost ready for the slide. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is the release. So the release is going to be a slight rotation. I'm doing the slide with my right foot in front, so I'm rotating to my left to bring my right foot in front. And what I'm doing is, as I'm rotating just slightly, I'm pushing through the heel of my right foot. At this point, still maybe 80-20, but the majority of my weight is on that left leg and 100% driving force through the heel of my right. And when you do the slight rotation with this driving force, you're gonna feel the release. You're gonna feel your wheels start to slide. If you're not sliding, check the edge. Make sure you're on a really, really strong inside edge. So rotating through with a little push, and I can feel the release. It's totally a feel thing, but you'll feel your wheels start to lose the friction. Okay, from here, now entering into the slide. UFO, release, and now the slide is gonna be a counter rotation and initiating the drag with my left foot. So let's check that out. There we go. So counter rotation and drag, getting me into the slide. So those are our three steps. We're gonna practice those on the spot. And we wanna practice that a few times on the spot before we start adding any speed. So here we go again. Wide stance, lunge, and then knees together into my UFO. lunge, knees together into my UFO. Excellent. Slight rotation and push, drag, and counter rotate. And those are my components of my magic slide. Now for practicing this, practice going through the UFO, the release, and the slide just on the spot, and then practice putting those first two together. That setup is super important. When you put those two together, you'll know when it's safe to commit to the slide, and you're not going to cause yourself to get caught up on an edge and fall in an awkward way. So here I am back in the shop. I'm going to practice those first two steps. Skate, skate, UFO, slight rotation, and the push, creating that release. UFO and release. From there, I practice it again on the spot, get my body ready, add some speed, put it all together. So on the spot again, first step, wide lunge into my UFO, slight rotation, driving through the heel, and then the slide, counter rotate and drag. Good, right? That one looked all right. Let's try again. Same thing, going through those motions, getting my body ready for the slide. Remember, this is great at high speeds, but if you're going to be committing to a slide like this while you're going down a hill, something like that, you want to make sure you're not skipping any steps. So practice them, practice them, practice them. Putting it together. It's looking better already, just watching my own technique here. Again, practicing each position. The most important being those first two, the UFO and the release. Okay, so it's looking not too bad. Getting the hang of this. Some are better than others, which is to be expected. Got to fine tune it as I go through. But feeling good. And let's try again one more time on the spot. Okay, looking pretty good. Now from here, you practiced it in your own little practice area, whether you got some room in your basement or garage, or maybe you have a nice parking lot in your neighborhood. You're getting used to it. Okay, so now, stepping up the practice, you're going to move to a downhill, something slanted, just a ramp that goes downhill where you know there's no obstructions, that if you were to not be able to stop, that you're going to run into something free of obstructions, you're ready to go. I'm going to practice again those first two steps. So I've got a nice decline here, get into my UFO, and then just finding that release position, that driving force with a slight rotation, making sure I'm feeling my wheels release. Good. And then as I feel them release, then I'm getting prepared for the slide. And then from here, I'm feeling good. UFO, release, and slide. Very good. Okay, so that's our breakdown. Now, like I mentioned, Greg Mirzoyan is the one that inspired me to start practicing this. Now, what makes Greg Mirzoyan's look so good is he's following more or less the steps that I outlined, maybe a few small differences, but he puts it together in one nice smooth motion. So right now we've got it broken down into 3 parts, but when you can make it all into one nice smooth motion, that's when you get a slide that looks like this. Beautiful. Wow, fantastic. Now, another great tutorial I found online, I'll link to it here, I apologize, Rollerline was the name of the YouTube channel. Check his out, and he has a monoline positioning, which I think could be helpful too. The monoline kind of combines the rotation and the counter rotation, where, you know, I've rotated one way, I've counter rotated the other way in that position, where I'm going here and here, he's going here. Also a great technique. You can try that. Definitely check out his video. It's really well broken down, even though it's in Russian, not in English. Excellent. Thank you for watching. Great move. Really excited for this this magic slide. And if you're following along with my videos in the future, you're going to see me busting out a lot more magic slides. I promise you that. Okay, so next week, not quite done with the magic slide. I want to break down a backwards entry into the magic slide, which I think is also a really fun move that you guys will like. Okay, thank you for watching. Namaste. Life is good. Let's go skate.